So when it comes to part 1, be clear, be confident, be comfortable in what you're saying. And a tip for those people who are aspiring to get a 7 plus, especially for this particular part of the speaking test, that tip would be to avoid giving your answer in the same format in which the question is framed. Like, do you have many friends? Yes, I have many friends. So, what is happening here? I'm not saying that it's an incorrect form of presenting our response, but it is just kind of a copy pasted version. So, if you are one of those who has a requirement of a 7 plus, or who wants a 7 plus and wants to achieve that high score, it's better to do more of paraphrasing. Do you have a large group of friends or small? Well, I have a group of, and then maybe you mention the number. I have more than 20 friends in my circle. I have a large group which comes from my school, from the university that I went to, my neighbors, and also my colleagues. So, see, here is a way of answering the same question, that I have a large group, but you're not confining yourself to giving an answer which just ends with that. So add frequency, add reasons, compare it with the time of your past, and try to elongate it so that you can make it up to 2 sentences or even 3. Hope you are able to follow this. That's about the first part of your speaking test. So I repeat a couple of recent questions which were about themes, boring things, could be about advertisements. There have been also questions about dream. Do you remember your dreams when you wake up? Or do you talk about your dreams with other people? Or it has also been about sitting, such a weird theme. But the question is, how often do you sit in a day? Where do you usually sit? Do you think a lot when you sit? So these kind of questions have also been there. So with this, let's now jump to the next part, which is the most crucial part of your assessment, and that's part 2. This part is also called the cue card round, because in this part you are given a cue card. On that cue card there is a topic presented, and again the topic is going to be personal. In this round, things that you need to take care of is a, the topic cannot be changed, so whatever you get you need to speak on it. And two, this particular round has a time limit in terms of how much can you speak. So the first round, and maybe even in the third when you'll go, there is no time limit per question, but here there is. You can speak for up to 2 minutes, but your speech has to cover minimum 1 minute, else the examiner will ask you to continue. So here there is this task that we need to accomplish, which is to keep our content between 1 and 2 minutes. So a couple of points, first of all, that I would like to tell you would be that we need to develop our answer really well here, that we are crossing that 1 minute mark. And in this round, and only in this round, you get 1 minute prep time. Use that to the fullest. So the moment you look at the topic, which could be describe either some type of person, place, object, or a situation. I'll give examples in a bit. Always check the first line. Describe what? There would be certain bullet points, which is the cue, the hint. And those points are given to you so that you can develop your answer further. But pay attention to the first and the last point, which says explain why, explain how, explain whether, explain if. So these two things you need to keep etched in your memory and develop more information related to that. And for this, what would help you is the WH family. What do I mean by that? What, when, where, which, how often, how many, how much. With these, we can create a lot of questions which can help us to develop our answer. So, how do we do that? Let's say if there is any topic. Number one, let's say the question, I'll give you some examples of the recently asked ones. So, there has been a question which says, describe an interesting old person that you know, or an interesting neighbor, or taking a place into consideration. Talk about a place you visited where the air was polluted. This has been one of the recent questions. Of course, if you are not from Delhi, you can talk about Delhi for sure. And describe a person with whom you really like to spend time with. So, so I gave you a few examples of person, place, and they can also be of something that you do. For example, describe an activity you engage yourself in to stay fit. One of the questions. So I'll suggest you to do one thing, which is called, to develop your answer for about over a minute, something that I call as a BDD approach, which I say background, disclose, details. These topics require you to give details. But mostly test takers make this mistake. They start telling all the details in less than 1 minute time, and then they wonder, what should I add now? So that's the challenge in part two. So what you should do is keep a theme in that 1 minute prep time. Keep your beginning and closing very clear. How do you want to start the topic with, and how do you want to end? Because in that spontaneity, then you will be able to keep adding, because you have the cue with you, which is your WH family. So when you're preparing, be very clear and make a kind of a background theme in your mind. For instance, describe an activity that you engage in to keep fit. Now, you might be doing a lot of things, right, guys? You might be doing a lot of things to stay fit. Maybe, maybe not. But let's not name that directly. That's called disclosing. So when you disclose, you are not, try to come gradually to the theme so that you can consume about initial 10-15 seconds to say what the theme is about and then start giving the details. So maybe let's say I say that it's really essential for each and every person to keep themselves active and fit. I am a person who has most of the hours sitting at one place and doing my official work, and it becomes really important for me to keep moving and engage in activities that could help me not get affected by different health ailments. And for this purpose, I engage myself in, and now I disclose. So see, I took almost about 20 seconds to come to the topic. I started with the background, and now I disclose that for this purpose I do, and then you name the activity that you do. And now you do the same thing which is there on your cue card. Which activity, when do you do it, where do you do it, how do you do it? Or maybe let's say, is there somebody who is coaching you to do it? How frequently do you do it? There's so many points that we can mention. And most important, what has been the effect of doing that activity can also be incorporated. If you're doing all this with the background, then disclosing gradually, and then starting to give the details, you can easily cross 1 minute. Easily you can cross 1 minute. But a lot of us may just start with the information that is being given, they disclose, they give the details, and it's just been 45-50 seconds, which is not adequate. So in this part, please use the BDD concept. And also, again, there is no right wrong answer. If you digress and you go to a different topic altogether, then you may lose score only because you may not be using topic specific vocabulary. So when will the topic specific vocabulary come? When you speak on that topic. So a lot of test takers make this mistake that they go on to a different track. So try avoiding doing so. So that was about part two, guys. I would repeat a couple of topics that have come recently, which is